Now stay tuned to the following radio broadcast.
You're listening to the Victory Station, AM 1360. We're glad you chose us. Thank you.
It's Impact with the Florida Star, the largest, oldest, and most read African-American newspaper in Northeast Florida and South Georgia. And now, here's the host, the publisher of the award-winning Florida Star, Clara McLaughlin.
This is Opio, and I am speaking to Glo Smith. She is one of the candidates that's running for Congress. Boy, this is going to be a good interview. How are you doing, ma'am?
I am doing so well. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
First off, I want to say congratulations. This is a really interesting election right now. How do you feel your chances are?
I think they're great. One, because I am receiving support on both sides of the aisle. The people in the 5th District that have come out to support us understand what's at stake, and especially the people over on the West Coast in Jacksonville, they want a local representative, and they know that I have a proven record. So I feel really, really good about having, being in a position right now to go to Washington and represent the people in this 5th District.
Let me start off with a question from a Pastor Sampson. You know Pastor Sampson. He asked, how will you make that constituency happy that have been so loyal to Corrine Brown?
Well, I think that when they look at what I want to do, they'll see it's in line with what the Congresswoman wants to do. In fact, she and I had a chance to sit down and talk on Sunday. And the things that I'm passionate about are the things that she's passionate about. We might bring it to the table a different way, but we understand that we have to work across the party lines in order to accomplish what we need to do. One, we're both concerned about overcriminalization. I said to her, do you support the Ryan bill on overcriminalization? And she said she did. We talked about mental health on Tim Murphy bill. She said she supported that. We talked about education and the lack of Pell Grants that are being given to minority students, and I'm going to follow her lead on that. We talked about so many things. See, she knows that I love people, and she knows I love serving people. And so she said to me, are you going to be able to work across the aisle? And I said, yes, ma'am, you know I can, and I will. I did it in my private life. I did it when I worked for Lieutenant Governor Carroll. I did it when I worked for Governor Scott. I provided constituent services regardless of the person's political ideology or affiliation.
Tell us what you think about this national election going on, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be honest with you. I've just been so disappointed in both. I just think we're better than both of those candidates. And, a lot of times, people outside the district and inside of the district, not so much as before, the first thing they say to me is, are you voting for Donald Trump? And the first thing I say back is, I am running for Congress in Florida 5th District. I want to represent the people. I cannot tell you right now what I'm going to do, but what I will tell you is that I want your vote in the 5th District, and I want to make our district better. I want to bring jobs to our community. I want to talk to the issues that are happening with so many African Americans that are being locked up, and right now, women at a higher rate. I want to talk about education opportunities and trade opportunities, and I just keep throwing it back to that because the reality is every day what affects our life at the local level, what affects our life when we don't bring home a big paycheck or when we pay a lot in taxes, or when we're not being able to have our voices heard, those are the things that are important to, I think, all of us in the 5th District, and that's what I'm running for. And I'm telling you, I can't even begin to think about that because trying to run in a heavily Democratic district, as you know, being a Republican in and of itself is a lot. And so that's what my concentration is getting people to work with me and to support me and to say, Glo, we are with you here in Jacksonville, and we want you to represent us. And that's what all of my time is spent.
We are Black Paper. The Florida Star is a Black Paper. The Impact Show is a Black show. The WCGL is a Black radio station. 18.2 Star TV is Black. We talk about Black stuff. When you talk about the criminal justice system, there's a huge number of people that believe that we're not getting a fair shake, and Black people are being treated horribly by the police. What do you think about those things that Black people are really, really up in arms about right now, particularly where the police are concerned?
Well, you know what? I tell people all the time, and I always give you the disclaimer because I have a natural instinct to be biased, and I tell you why. I get to see firsthand every day what happens on all sides of overcriminalization. I understand the effects that the crime bill has had on the African American community. I understand the effects that the war on drugs have had on the African American community. I am married to a law enforcement officer of 32 years. I am the mother of a female prosecutor and attorney with the state attorney's office, and I'm the mother of 2 black sons. I get it. I understand when we see on television the things that we're seeing with African Americans being shot by law enforcement officers, and we see Black Lives Matter marchers, and we see riots. We understand, I understand personally, that there is a legitimate issue and a legitimate concern. And I do say that Black Lives Matter, and I say that all lives matter because, again, I'm biased. The life of my husband that I've been married to for almost 32 years matters. My 2 black boys, my 2 black men, their lives
There's not a problem with black police officers killing white people or black police officers killing black people. These are white police officers killing black people. So when you mention your husband as a police officer, it's almost like he's black too. Black police officers actually get killed by white police officers if they're in plain clothes and they're going after a suspect.
Right. And like I said, I understand that. But what I say is that we have a legitimate issue and a concern when we see what's happening, and I think that has to call all of us to stop and think what's happening, all the way down to the actual training that our law enforcement officers receive are reactionary. We've got things that they're contending with that we didn't deal with 10, 15 years ago so much in the public's eye. Not that it was not occurring then. So I think that we have to figure out ways, whether it's body cameras, whether it's more training, whether it's, talking to everybody involved, bringing our communities together. I think here's what we have to do. I think we have to bring our preachers to the table. I think we have to bring our police to the table. I think we have to bring the public to the table. And I think that we have to bring people in the criminal justice system to the table to talk about these issues and to talk about what is occurring. Not that it just started occurring. It's just that we start to see it more publicly now with the camera everywhere. So I think we bring all of these people to the table and say, we've got to stop this, we've got to change this, and all of us got to be willing to work on and to identify what the problems are and work on solutions.
A lot of this was as a result of the drug war, which actually we're finding out that Nixon used to target the black community, and ever since then, whether it's Republican or Democrat, we've had these horrible sentencing, and you have these large number of black people that go to jail that do drugs the same as whites. So right now there's a clemency situation. Do you agree that there's a large number of blacks who are nonviolent, low-level drug offenders that should actually receive clemency?
Most definitely, but what's more important is even before we had the war on drugs, that crime deal that Clinton signed was a danger to us. That was in the beginning. That just built on to what we already were dealing with. And then to have the crime deal have the effect that it has had, the 10-20 life came out of those things, not the war on drugs, which was even more devastating to the black community. What's happening right now is more minority women are entering the prison system faster than men are. And so we've got some really serious issues. We've got to have intervention programs. We've got to really work on pushing, and whether people agree with it or not. When we look at our young people that have made a mistake, and I'm not talking about, outright murder and horrible crimes, but have made a mistake, we need to have civil citations. We need to have things like that just automatically happens. And so, like I said, I see it. When my daughter tells me, Mom, the majority of the time I turn around and I'm in the courtroom, most of the people there look like me. That's a problem. And so I totally get it. And so what I think we have to do, again, is bring those people to the table. Another reason why I'm running is because I understand the importance of having an opportunity to represent the black people and represent people, period. I told somebody, I think it was in our first debate at the Florida State College back during the primary season, and I mentioned to someone, I said, the reality is the majority of us in this room, or not the majority, but there's a great deal of us in this room that have now biracial children, grandchildren, or we have a relative or a close friend that have biracial children. Right. We've got to protect our children, period. Right. We've got to stop what's happening, and we've got to really pay attention to what's happening in the criminal justice system, because even more important or equally important to that is the mental health issues. Right now, there's research that's showing the true unemployment members, how it's directly related to mental illness. And we know that a lot of people with mental illnesses are being locked up in record numbers. And a lot of those people are people of color. So I think that we have to figure out a way. I wish I could tell you I had all the answers. What I can tell you is I have worked in a community. I have a proven record. I have worked on opening up a community center in Green Cove Springs almost 8 years ago, and today it is still up and running. It was a safe haven, a middle ground for people in Green Cove Springs to be able to come and say we need help. And today they served over 5,000 children and over 2,000 families. They can go in there and look for a job. They can apply for government assistance. They can meet with their family members. They can get mental health counseling. There's a array of options, and I think we should have more opportunities to have centers like that, not just in our communities, but on the outsides of our community, and especially in this new district that we have now in Florida's 5th Congressional District.
Let's talk about black people getting rich and wealthy. How can you, as a congressperson, bring home and deliver to the organizations and to the businesses to make sure that they have all the resources and tools they need, including capital, mainly capital, to be able to go to that next level, as well as so they can hire more people, so they can get their big homes and use those to pass down to their children, and they can create more wealth.
Well, let me break it up into a few categories. One, let's talk about businesses, because research and reality is more black businesses are going under at a faster rate than any other businesses. Not only that, we have stipend entrepreneurship and innovation opportunities for young people. The risk and the reward system seems to have taken a side seat to what is happening. I'm meeting people in businesses every day because equally, what I do equally and what I love equally to politics is businesses. My experiences and my education is in the business field, that are losing their jobs, that are losing their businesses because of taxes, because of regulations, because they can't afford insurance. There's an array of issues when it comes to small businesses. We're not opening small businesses like we used to. Now, when you look at black and minority women, Hispanic women, we are opening businesses faster than any other category of people, but the Hispanics are outnumbering African American women almost 2 to 1. So that's the problem. 2, we have to make sure that we put people in positions where, I'm just going to be honest with you, most people I know have some issue with credit, whether it was because of the crisis 8-10 years ago or previously or even something recent. Most people have a problem. It is very hard to find resources and companies that will give you money for a small business. Most of the time, people who start a small business don't even pay themselves because they're trying to allow room to pay their employees and to hopefully put some money back in, to reinvest back into the business. Over a month ago, I brought in a company called United Wealth, and we had over 100 people attend this meeting over on the north side that either have a business or want to start a business. And we talked about that. We talked about some of the factors that are hindering us from opening our businesses. I grew up in a home where my stepfather raised me. He was my father for all practical purposes. But my father was from Trinidad and Tobago. He was an educated black man, first black engineer and supervisor at Jacksonville Shipyard. And he came to this country because he knew the opportunities that it afforded to African Americans was better than any other place he could have gone in this world. And so he said, you're going to get an education or you're going to get a good trade. Not only did my dad work for the shipyard, but he owned stores in our community. He owned a trucking business. He owned property. And so I grew up, and that's kind of where my conservative values came from. He believed in paying less taxes, smaller government, empowering people to be able to do those things. And he said, you vote for the best person whose political ideology aligns with the Word of God and yours. That's how I was brought up. But I share that story because that's where I got my desire to be an entrepreneurship. People don't think it's small. I mean, they think it's a small thing sometimes, but I started out just with opening up family home daycare so I could stay home, still have an income, and raise my own children. But out of that came an opportunity for me to write curriculum, work with UNF, help small businesses on the north side, help other women on the west side start their own child care businesses. And I'm very proud of that. But I hope that kind of gives the listeners a little bit of idea about what I'm thinking. But I'm always open to join other people and to learn what they think and the way they think that we need to reach out to our black community.
All right, Glow Smith, she is running for Congress. Oh man, this is going to be a good race. So you guys make sure that you get out there and vote. Thank you, Miss Glow Smith.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Do you know what media received the first Eagle Award by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for being the most factual? The Florida Star. Do you know which media solely addresses issues of concern for African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know which media carries local, state, national, and international news regarding African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know the only media that carries a special section for our youth at home and the schedule for 3 black television networks? Now you know the Florida Star. Northeast Florida's largest, oldest, and most read African American newspaper, serving since 1951 in more than 200 locations. The Florida Star. News you can use, news you can trust. The people's choice, striving to make a difference. Subscribe today. Call 766-8834. That's 766-8834. Pick up the Florida Star at over 200 locations, or to have it delivered, call 766-8834. The Florida Star, speaking truth to power.
Here in publication in Northeast Florida and Georgia. Madam Clerk, please read the bill.
Whereas newspapers have historically been a vital, indispensable component of any and all freedom-loving nations in the modern world, and the free press traditionally has been a purveyor of news as well as a vehicle for the dissemination of opinion and dissent. As students of American history know, it was John Peter Zenger, a New York printer with his lawyer Alexander Hamilton, who in the very famous 1730 revival case ensured that freedom of the press would be incorporated into the First Amendment of the Constitution. The Florida Star was founded on April 15, 1951 by Eric O. Simpson to provide Jacksonville with its own African-American newspaper. The Florida Star focused on news that impacted Jacksonville's African-American community when other newspapers and news media ignored or minimized African-American and civil rights stories. During the 1950s and 60s, the Florida Star was in the vanguard in championing civil rights in Jacksonville. It prodded the government on embedded Jim Crowism. It endorsed African-American political candidates and kept the readers in the community apprised of boycotts and sit-ins. Through the years, the Florida Star became known for its crime reporting. Today, the Florida Star has extensive coverage of news, politics, fashion, religious news, sports, Greek organizations, obituaries, opinion columns, and more. When Eric Simpson died in 1994, his wife, Mary Wooten Simpson, took the helm of the newspaper, and under her watch, the paper expanded its staff, coverage, and circulation. In the aftermath of her death, managing editor Erica Simpson, Erica and Mary Simpson's daughter, led the newspaper. In 2002, Clara McLaughlin purchased the Florida Star and is currently serving as its publisher. In January 2007, the Florida Star launched a Georgia edition, the Georgia Star. In 2003, Eric Simpson was posthumously inducted into the Florida Press Association Hall of Fame, the first African American to be inducted. Today, 65 years after its founding, after weathering lawsuits and arson attacks along the way, the Florida Star remains a vital, instrumental, cohesive presence in Jacksonville's African American community. The Star is linked to Jacksonville's growth and confidently looks forward to continued growth and progress in the years ahead. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Jacksonville, the City Council does hereby recognize and honor the Florida Star on the occasion of its 65th year as a newspaper and publication in Northeast Florida and Georgia, and extends its best wishes for continued success in the years ahead. Adopted by the Council August 9, 2016.
Yes, we're here.
Thank you so much, City Council.
council members and colleagues. I really appreciate it. And I just have to echo the words that Councilmember Brown said when he said that, first of all, we just have to thank each of you for seeing the value in recognizing the Florida Star for 65 years of service here in Jacksonville. And the other thing that we have to do is, as Councilmember Brown said, we have to remember that we have trailblazers right here in our city. Trailblazers who are known throughout this nation, who have put Jacksonville on the map in a very positive way. And we have this opportunity to recognize Clara McLaughlin right here today. 65 years for carrying on the legacy of the Florida Star, not allowing that newspaper to go by the wayside, but making sure that it continues to make its mark, not only in Jacksonville, but also in Georgia. So I just want to tell you a little bit about her if you don't really know who this little lady is, because she's just a tiny little lady, but she carries such a punch. She carries a lot of power. She is from the Gainesville area, so she's pretty much local. She's an author, she's a newspaper, a publisher, but she is also the first African-American female in the United States of America to become founder and a major owner and CEO of a network-affiliated television station. She did that in Longview, Texas. It was a CBS affiliate, and you know, when I look at Ms. McLaughlin and think about all of the things that she has done, when she went to Howard University, they did not have a school of journalism. This woman is responsible for bringing a school of journalism to Howard University, a university that is well known throughout this nation and this world. But this is the little lady with all of that might. A lady we have right here in our community. Clara has a radio show that she does called Impact that is on WCGL 1390, 1360. And she has also launched Star TV, which is on 18.2, that is on digital, which is a minority community show. She continues to make strides here in Jacksonville. She is a mentor to so many young people who want to go into journalism. But you know what? She's a mentor to me. Not only because of journalism, but because of the person that she is. And she is a mentor to all of this city, and we are just so thankful. And I am so happy to be able to present this to you today. Clara, to you.
Here, here.
Before you all leave, we have a few council members who wanted to share their thoughts. Councilman Newby.
Thank you, Madam President. Through the President. First of all, I want to congratulate Florida Star on 65 great years. You know, the Florida Star was our paper. It was a community paper, just like Councilman Brown said, Councilman Gaffney. I wasn't born on Cleveland Road, but 45th Street was really close. And I remember as a little boy, my next door neighbor used to tell me every Thursday, go get me a Florida Star. So he gave me 50 cents. A quarter for the Florida Star, he gave me a quarter to go down there. So every Thursday I had a quarter to go back home and stuff like that. But I want to thank you for your service and thank you for your meetings. And you have done some great things for the city of Jacksonville. Thank you.
Councilman Missouri.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through the chair. I want to congratulate the little lady that can and could and did. And I grew up with the Florida Star. I was born and raised in Liberty and Ashley. You're only just 6 years younger or 7 years younger than me. But I want to congratulate the Simpson family for all that y'all have done for this city. You certainly have been a star in Jacksonville's crown. I remember way back when the Times Union had their quote-unquote colored section, but y'all beat that by a mile. Everything that you published and all the news that was fit to print, and I congratulate y'all. We're very thankful for you having the staying power, because I know it's been struggling off and on throughout those years, as all newspapers are today. But thank you for keeping the faith and staying in Jacksonville and continuing to expand in the media as you have done. And to all of y'all, thank you for being a part of our great city.
Thank you, Tom.
Councilman Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. I too understand this is personal for me, it's involved in, as we talked earlier, but definitely congratulations on the 65 years. We all know we say that knowledge is power. You provided our community a lot of information, a lot of knowledge for 65 years, and even more than that. But more importantly, I think it's always good when information can be shared through your eyes to our community. But sometimes, I think Councilman Missouri alluded to it, you may hear it a different way. And that's the importance, I think, of having Florida Star. We had a chance to hear it the way it is, where it was. And so I thank you for that. And I personally thank you, even with my journey, assisting me every step of the way. And that means a lot. Because I can tell you that we say that she's a small giant. And that she is. That she is. And when she looked within the bounds of the community, and not just the African American community, I want to be real clear with that. You know, it extends far beyond our boundaries as a race to be. And I don't want that to get lost out there. I mean, it transcends across every boundary. But when she recognizes, and I'll close with this, when she recognizes talent, leadership, she herself will get behind those individuals and make sure that they're able to reach their destiny. You know, so that I appreciate you for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Gaffney.
Thank you, Madam President. And my colleagues basically said everything that I thought was adequate to be said. But what I challenge the councilman, what I challenge Jacksonville, the Florida Star has its own history. And what I love about the Florida Star is often we can wake up and read other newspapers, but we always look forward when we're going to get a story that we believe will be adequate or fitting to what we thought was happening. And that's regardless of what situation in this city. But I ask that we reach out to the Florida Star because it's not just a television, paper, but more it's news, it's information. And what I love about them, we choose not to go bigger stations, they don't mind going into the neighborhood and to the roots of the community and getting the adequate story sometimes that the news media don't want to write. But I want to thank you for what y'all do. I want to thank that guy who take all those pictures that y'all allow him to take because he's everywhere in Jacksonville. And I'm running from him sometimes, not a bit from thank you for having Frank, because he's a man after a true story, but more than after Jacksonville heart. And thank y'all again.
Councilman Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to tell you, just echo everything that my colleagues have said today, but just to tell you a little more. Your paper over 65 years, it just isn't a Jacksonville paper. My mother's side of the family, she had 5 other brothers and sisters. They lived all around the country. And when we used to get together for family reunions, they would tell us the updates of Jacksonville because they had their subscription mailed to them all around the country. So the paper just wasn't a Jacksonville paper. It's a national paper. And because of your publication, they kept up with all the happenings in Jacksonville. I want to tell you thank you for that.
Thank you all very much.
And I forgot to say the Bahamas as well. And did you want to introduce yourself right quick?
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
Will O'Neill, he does radio. Opio is the Opio Saccone doctor. He's a lawyer from Howard University also. And he is general manager. Frank, everybody knows him. Everybody knows when they see Frank with his hat on, he's got this work star. Okay. And Denise Williams, she's also a new photographer. She's been with about a year. Okay. And this gentleman here, Gonzalez, Goldman's son, because he wants to be a part of it. And he wants to get into journalism. Thank you.
Wonderful. How old are you? Oh, just 12. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. And I thank all of you so much. Thank you so much. I can't tell you. I'm in tears. I don't want to start crying, okay? Thank you. Thank you.
This is OPO. I hope you enjoyed another episode of Impact. It is time to get out there and vote. You make sure you get out there because it matters. Continue to pick up a copy of the Florida Star newspaper, as well as check us out on Star TV. Again, thanks for all the support and congratulations to the Florida Star. This is OPO.